It's time to nerd fight. Working culture collides in a world full of thrills. We've got the filtered opinions. Face that ignite the debates that down to opinions and debates that ignite. Mr. Know-it-all, yeah, he's alright. Bringing you the latest in movie shows and all things tight. But hold on to your war course, don't let them slip. Cause the real captain here is SaltyTrekker on the ship. Navigating the cosmos, pop culture's delight. Debating what's nerdy, we keeping it tight. You know what that means, so don't lose sight. It's time to fight, nerd fights. Navigating the cosmos, pop culture's delight. Debating what's nerdy, we keeping it tight. You know what that means, so don't lose sight. It's time to fight, nerd fights. Nerd fights, nerd fights. Nerd fights, nerd fights. Let's battle it out, bring the heat tonight. It's time to nerd fight. Nerd fight. Nerd fight.
Y'all know what it is. It's Friday night. Time to get your nerd on. We got Mr. Know-It-All, the SaltyTrekker and Danny Dork Night. Are y'all ready? Aight, here we go. If you're looking for me, you know where to find me. Cause tonight is going down. On Friday night, we have nerd fights. It's on tonight. On Friday night, we have nerd fights. It's on tonight. On Friday night, we have nerd fights. It's on tonight. On Friday night, we have nerd fights. It's on tonight.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Nerd Fights. I am your host, Mr. Know-It-All. Joining me, of course, are SaltyTrekker, the captain of the starship, Danny Dork Knight, who's back in the chair, and joining us directly tonight is Lore Reloaded, who we're super excited to have because we're talking about fun stuff. Guys, how's it going? How's your week been? Anything fun happen? Anything we should maybe talk about? I don't know. Gentlemen?
Oh, so that was not. I thought it was a rhetorical question.
No, I mean, geez, what's going on? Especially because apparently Street Preacher's already pointing out that all the women on the show are 5 feet tall, which I only noticed the times that the Chancellor and what's his face Caleb are standing together nearby,
Right.
And he's like,
Yeah,
literally,
he's a good
breast,
foot
head,
taller.
shoulders. I'm like, she's like looking up at him like so, and I was like, bro,
That
he is so
dude,
tall.
that dude is built like a brick. You know what house? That
He
dude,
totally is, dude. No,
Yeah.
for real.
he is jacked.
Reviewer Caleb
Yeah.
went full Mike Tyson on the guard in the show.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, he
by-
did. Yeah, he did.
So are we just going to get right into Academy and do the other stuff later, or what do you want to do?
No, whatever you want. However, if you guys are ready to get into it, looks like Laura's like itching to go about.
How
You want
about
to
we
get buttons, sir?
we could talk about episode 1, then dive into the other stuff in the middle, and then cap off the show with episode 2, or not? It's an idea.
Whatever you guys want, however you guys want to roll, let's do that. I'm down.
Well,
Yeah,
first
so
impressions,
Starfleet.
want to kind of go around the table and see what everybody thought of it as a
Do like our
general-
hot takes first, and then
Yeah,
get
yeah.
into
So
discussion.
that's what we always used to do. So we'll start with our guest of honor, Laura. What's your 30-second hot take type review of it?
Are we going to do both episodes or just episode 1? Right
I would just
No,
say
do what you
I
do.
would say impressions on the show.
Yeah, in general, yeah, just
Yeah,
a generalized
both,
show.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was all right. I think it's YA is what it is. It's a young adult genre where you can just turn off your brain and watch it. I don't think it's necessarily horrible or anything like that. I guess mediocre would be how I'd go with it. But for me, I'm big on like lore and seeing what I can break down to make money. So there's a lot of cool little nitpicks that you can pull out that are fun.
I mean, tidbits.
Tidbits, yeah, or nitpicks, whichever you want to do. You know, they both work. But the member berries were too much, and I think they hurt the overall. I think they dishonored the shows they came from in a lot of ways.
Wow.
Victor DiGiovanna says, I'm planning on not watching Starfleet Academy, but we'll be experiencing the show entirely through this discussion. All right, brother, and you're definitely in for a treat because I think we have varying tones and varying thoughts about this. Penny
Yes.
says her and the hubby are celebrating. He turned 60 this week. They're at Texas Roadhouse waiting, so that's why they're listening to the show.
Man, so I am
Told
almost
you.
as old as Danny's
You
stepfather.
could totally be Danny's dad.
Yeah.
All right, Danny, what's your hot take on it?
I actually, it sounds like the complete opposite of Lore Reloaded. I actually thought, and I wrote down several instances and examples just in the first episode. I felt like it was made by people who are fans of Star Trek, who love Star Trek, and it shows. I felt a lot of things were like kind of love letters to fans, but not done in a way like you could come into this and not seen any Star Trek whatsoever, and this would be a good starting point. But if you had watched Star Trek
Wow.
before, let me say my piece. If you had
Yeah.
watched Star Trek before, there are things there that are going to pop you. That you're going to be like, oh, okay, oh, that's cool. Oh, I see what they did there. Or, little things like the Memorial Park in episode 2. So I don't know. I have so far thoroughly enjoyed it, but and it might be because the bar was so low. And when it was, but I did watch both episodes 3 times now. And
Samuels, we will get to that question. I promise. I've started. We are going to come back to that. So don't. So chill out for a bit. We're definitely going to get that answer. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry.
no, so it looks like I'm going to be the only one on this panel that so far has. I'm enjoying it, and I look very much forward to the next episode. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
was it like in 3D and there was like a really
Hang on. Stop it. Stop. My turn. So okay, I thought the very first episode anyway, tried to slam and pack as much member berries as it could. And once it stopped slapping me in the face with its sign that reads, "This is Star Trek, this is Star Trek," I actually was able to see the show I think they're trying to make. And I didn't, I was, again, I'm able to kind of look at it and say, okay, this is what this is they want to do. I'm going to go with them and see. And the second episode I thought was markedly better. So overall, I feel like, except for the fact that they had to shuffle half the characters aside to introduce new characters to tell the story they wanted to tell, but it felt the most like a Star Trek story with the negotiations and big stakes for like planetary stuff. It to me that the second episode felt more like what I think they're trying to go for, but the first
That's
episode
funny.
was way too.
Wow, I like the first
don't
episode.
hang on, hey,
Yeah.
relax. You'll get a
Oh,
chance to talk in a minute.
You cut me off a
So
couple times.
I didn't cut you off at all, sir. I was like, oh wow, that's it. Now, I do think that the
Chaz.
show is I do think that the show is. It's not your fault. You're down low on the screen. It's not my. I have to bring the questions up. I think that the show wants to decide whether it wants to have a crew and a ship, but it wants to have its cake and eat it too. And so we'll see sort of where that goes. I'm giving it to the next episode to really decide whether I'm going to be doing episode by episode reviews or not on my channel, or just do a recap for the season when it's over. But I think there's a lot of work here, but at the same time, I see the scaffolding of what it could be. It's definitely YA, like Laura said. It's absolutely YA. And so we'll see what. And also, I personally do not think it was done by fans. I think it was done by people who have a lot of encyclopedic information in front of them and kept pulling a book out to go, "Ooh, let's put this in. They'll love this." And at least the first episode did. The second episode, at least, I felt like tried to do something that felt Trekish, and so I have hope somewhat, but it's very, very, very tenuous. Salty, what'd you think, sir?
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. This
Message.
this show was the very definition of mixed for me. So let me say off the bat, I was pleasantly surprised because I was expecting it to be worse than it was. Now, again, the bar was
Fair,
low.
and I was too. Same.
Yeah, but it was a much better show than I was expecting it to be. I thought, particularly some of the characters, like the way that you hear the actors talk about it versus what you see on screen,
Oh, sure.
like the Klingon in particular, were far different than and that's why I say never trust the actors because they're lying if they're talking. But if you haven't seen the short that I did about this show, it basically highlights
That
what
was
I think.
funny. That was pretty
Yeah,
funny, actually.
it highlights the whole problem with the show. It's got this beautiful shot of the ship coming in, and of course, this is after an entire episode of them talking about how they're going to San Francisco, and they
Preacher,
show
I'm
gracefully.
bookmarking your comment also, so we are going to get back to that. So don't
So,
lose that
so they're
question. That's a
they're
very good question.
gracefully coming in to land, and they land the ship in Sausalito. And so that's just, to me, that's how this show is. They think they know what they're doing, but they don't. And I will tell you. And so let me just a real quick aside on that. The Betazoid thing pissed me off to high heaven. Why? Because Betazoids don't read emotions. They are full telepaths. Troy could only read emotions because she's only half Betazoid. And
Well, they
and
didn't have the solid black eyes.
Hang on. Hey, we're not having
hold
discussions
on.
yet. Go ahead,
And
sir. Go ahead.
because about the death thing, no full telepath would ever need sign language. I mean, no sense whatsoever. And
my
that
God,
goes
that's
back to they were flying into San Francisco and landed in Sausalito. They brought in the Betazoids. They forgot how they work. And
Black
so,
Delegation, real quick, has said, I think it's important to remember the show is specifically written for a different demographic than most of us in this chat, and that's okay. That's a great observation. Thank you. Yeah, man,
that may
keep
be
going. Sorry.
so. I get that, but you know what? If you're going to bring in Vulcans and have them shoot lasers out of their eyes, I'm going to be pissed off. You don't change the abilities of a species that's established. If you want to bring in a new species and say that they can read emotions, fine. But it's just like
It sounds like you want to get into a harder core.
Well,
more
and
hard-
I hate that argument too, because again,
also
the ruler of well, hold on, can I address the comment that
Sure.
we were saying is a great point, and I completely disagree with. There's a lot of people like the leader of 1940s Germany created a book, and I was not his demographic, but I can have a judgment on it, right? So just because it's written for someone else doesn't mean that you can't judge it.
Well, I don't necessarily know that. I mean, yes, you're right. You're right. But I think what I take away from that point, the point of whether that it's for a different demographic, what I take away from that is I am able to also kind of say, okay, there's going to be bits I don't necessarily like. So, for instance, I'll use a quick Marvel example. I think Ms. Marvel probably was a very serviceable show. There were people who did like it. I personally didn't feel like it talked to me, but I didn't see anything structurally wrong with it. The story was there. The execution was fine. It just wasn't for me.
I still haven't seen Ms.
edge.
Marvel.
I'm on the edge for this, mainly because as much as, since we are kind of talking about stuff now, as much as Danny wants to say that it was for it's the perfect jumping on point. I don't know how. There's so much member berries. There's so much saying there's more stuff than you know about that I'm like, I don't know how you even remotely have a place to start with this yet.
So
You don't need to know the stuff, though. It's just a night if you happen
I'm
to
glad.
know it.
Thank you. I'm glad that Danny has now said nobody needs to know the stuff. Just watch it and shut up.
No.
That's what I got.
No. You don't have to be. What I was saying is this is perfect. Like if I was going to try to get my daughter, who's 16, about to be 17 next month, into Star Trek, which I've tried and failed. I feel like she would give this. I mean, now I could be wrong. I want to wait until there's only 6 episodes, but I feel like so far this would be a good way to kind of get in. If I could hook her with this, then maybe I could get her to watch older stuff, and when she watches it, she'll have it'll have the reverse kind of member berry effect. Because whereas like, oh, that's from Wrath of Khan, or oh, that's from Voyager, or oh, that's from Prodigy, she'll be like, oh, that's from Starfleet Academy. You know what I mean? If I could get her to go back and watch
Hey,
that.
Street
And
Preacher
that's
says
the
exactly
problem.
they don't really care about Trek history. Look, Street Preacher, here's the thing. I think they do. Not the way you think I'm going to say it. They care enough to have taken themselves so far in the future that history doesn't matter. That's the point. I don't agree with it, but that's their outlook.
So that's the problem, though, Dork. So let's have a conversation about that. Because this is what I had a problem with the member berries. I'm going to take the best example of it. They didn't do it with all the member berries, but some of them. With the doctor, and he says medical tricorder. Okay, so let's talk about.
I love that. That was a callback to Voyager Caretaker.
And and you know what? It completely dishonors what happened in that. Now, if you
How does it dishonor it? Well, unpack that.
Okay, and I'm going to unpack that. I'm not necessarily. When you originally watched that in Voyager, what had occurred at that point was Voyager had been hit. It was under major attack. People were dying and people were hurt. The medical staff had been completely annihilated. They were dead. You have people on the ship. You have Harry Kim, Paris. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to help people. So they bring on the EMH. The EMH starts to get working, and he asks for a tricorder. They give him a regular tricorder, and he has to tell them a medical tricorder. In that moment, it tells you, as the viewer when you're watching it, this is really serious. These people are out of their depth, and if we don't have this doctor, people will die. Now, what they decided to do in Starfleet Academy was to say, oh, look, you were in a bog, and now you're going to have tapeworms come out of your ass, or butt, I'm sorry. And, oh yeah, by the way, Voyager existed. Can you see how someone could be offended by that?
No.
Smoke said, I found Starfleet Academy has potential to be a good series. Remember how we looked at TNG in the first season? Yeah, hold on. The difference I feel like is TNG was trying very hard to be a continuation of some kind. They were trying to lean into some certain exploration aspects, storytelling aspects. They were long-winded, but they weren't trying to redirect an entire ship. They were simply trying to update the thesis of the series. At least that's my take on the
Thanks,
difference.
Music Mania. I miss you guys too. I appreciate it.
Did you just really put your own shout up on did that just happen?
Of course it's there.
To be fair, there's been 3 conversations you have interrupted, so you can talk directly to the audience.
It's because that is my job, is to make sure the audience stays remembered and they don't realize.
I didn't say you couldn't do it. I was just saying, to be fair.
Do kids want to watch goofy misfits like themselves, or do they want to watch hot girls and guys? I don't know that CW has perfected that model, but they keep trying. And however you do it, they do it.
Yeah, I
How's
think
CW
that
spelled? How's
you know,
that work?
Starfleet 90210, which is what this show should be called.
No, this is actually more like Saved by the Bell, the college years. This is more like, Star Trek.
I didn't
college
watch
years.
Saved by the Bell, and I didn't watch 90210 either.
The college years was the worst of the Saved by the. So
Well,
let me
I'm
ask-
just saying, like the Starfleet Academy, they all seem to be more. It's more like a college.
Yeah,
Was
But
there
you know what?
flirting dialogue?
Okay,
I think that took away from it. Not to, just to finish my point, Salty, I'm sorry. I think that took away from it too, because the one thing I hated about it as well is they walked into Starfleet Academy, and if you weren't following the character that hates Starfleet, you might actually get a scope of how grandiose and how cool Starfleet is. You know what I'm saying? That's
Is
kind of
anybody else noticing Laura's audio?
Lord, you sound like you're underwater a little bit. You sound like you're
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah,
No,
there you go.
you
now
sound
you sound
good
fine.
there.
Oh, so let me do this. See, because it's a
Yeah, there you
shotgun mic. See,
Yeah.
Oh,
shotgun.
perfect. Victor
So-
says with TNG we had no good sci-fi on TV anywhere. We would have taken anything.
yeah. But okay, so like this writing, here's one of the core problems with the writing to me is that
Hang on.
why is every character have to be the best or most uniquest person ever?
Well, they're the
hey,
X-Men. Didn't you realize that? They're the X-Men all day.
Yeah, but how many firsts do we supposedly have? Like we have the first hologram who's in Starfleet Academy. We have the first whatever that one dude that changes into the fish monster is the first of his kind to be in Starfleet Academy. We have the adopted
Okay.
son of the one.
Hang on,
chick.
hang on.
He's the first one to not have to go through all the
He's
standard crap.
Steve Preacher, I
a
literally can do
Keone.
nothing for you. Steve Preacher, I can't do anything for you, my friend. Because at the end of the day, that's the core of what they're trying to set us up for.
Right.
Mind you, we've seen this same Lone Wolf and Cub nonsense and this whole we've seen this a million times. They're not doing anything interesting with that concept. That's the problem. But I get it. You're not interested, and that's fine. Then ultimately, this isn't. For you,
Hey
this
man,
show.
as a mama's boy, there were 3 different times I didn't cry, but I choked up a little bit during the
I'm
first
surprised you didn't
episode.
cry.
I know, right?
I would like to let everybody know Dorks MJ has just made the perfect comment here. She is absolutely right. This show is
Jumping
the
off
best
the cliff.
jumping off point for
Yeah.
if you're not into this kind of thing, and that's totally fair. You want to get off the ship, get off the ship. I personally am sticking around for a couple more episodes to at least see if they manage to really crystallize their thesis, because at the moment it's a little bit all over the road for me.
Well, here's the problem. I can already tell you what's going to happen this season, and I'm not happy about it. And I told you this.
Go ahead.
Already.
What's going to happen?
Okay, what's going to happen, and I would lay money on this, is that this is going to be a cut and paste by the numbers discovery season where they go from place to place trying to track down the dude's mom, and in the last episode, they'll find her. And so, and then it'll set up something for next season. But and the next season there'll be some other MacGuffin that they got to go from place to place to track down.
Well, yeah,
And
that's what they do right now.
but that's the problem. That's what these what's interesting is the serialized Star Treks suck, and the episodic Star Trek is good as far as I'm concerned in the current wave. Because I like Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks, but I think that Discovery and Picard sucked. This one is kind of in the middle for me.
Hey, do any of you guys know? Daniel Stenson's asking the question: what date is it? What year is it?
They
Do we
did
know?
give the star date at one point. It's in the 32nd century, I believe.
It's 31. It's 31 something. I looked it up
11 to 33rd
earlier.
century.
Yeah, I looked it up. I can't remember. It's 31 something. It's the same year. It's happening concurrently, and I didn't watch this, so this might mean more to y'all. It's happening concurrently with the mid to end of season 5 of Discovery, according to the date that because I did a little research.
Oh, it has to be post Discovery because the
Yeah,
No,
Okay.
it's
Well, hold
according.
on. Danny, let me finish my sentence.
Sure.
I was going to say, because the angry lesbian is a teacher.
Okay, when did
What?
they
Hold
jump
on,
off
whoa,
in
time out.
season 5?
Time out. Who are we talking about, and why are
Tig
we using
Notaro.
this reductive? Right, but look, no offense. The fact that Tig is angry, the fact that whatever her orientation is, I don't think has anything to do with
I'm
the
sorry, but
conversation.
that's
In
just
fact,
that,
I think it kind of puts you in a lowest common denominator place. That
if
at
you
one point,
well, look,
you
I'm
didn't
not
like
saying
seeing that
anything
shit.
negative about
All I'm
lesbian
saying is
sports.
this: she's a boring character. She's
I
one
liked
note
her
as
in this.
hell.
I thought she was better in
She's-
this than she was in Discovery.
She's literally one note. Her job was to tell off one of the main characters to dress him down in order to better flesh him out. Here's the problem with this, truthfully. Normally, these kind of shows have characters who look like they have room to grow. Some of them do, like Sam looks like she kind of does, though she reminds me of season 1 Data right now, which is kind of silly. And she's only been made for like 2 months or whatever
4.
long. I'm sitting here going, what? So then, so at the end of the day, it's like the characters they brought in don't matter yet. The Doctor doesn't matter. Why is he there? Tig Notaro's character, why does she matter? Like she doesn't matter other than just to
No,
tell
she's
somebody
there as a
off
member
and
bear.
learn something. Yeah,
for
it's just,
the Discovery
to show
fans,
that
it's like,
connection.
there's a Discovery character.
Right.
So
Right.
when did
By the
when
way,
did,
has nothing to do with the fact that she's a lesbian.
No, and don't get me wrong.
Okay,
I'm
so
not,
when did
I'm not degrading.
let's
the fact-
refer to her. Let's just call her Jet Reno because that's the character.
Oh, that's okay. I couldn't remember the character's name. Thank you. Jet Reno.
When did
I-
Jet?
which makes me think
As
of
someone who
Janet
hasn't
Reno.
watched Discovery after season 3, is that the season that Jet and Tilly left to go to
No.
Starfleet Academy?
No, they were in season 5.
It has to be after Star Trek Discovery for multiple reasons that happen in Starfleet Academy.
Well, then the dates don't line up.
Yeah. They also, and in fact,
Oh come on! Like Star Trek's ever been hugely concerned about the
Right.
the other
No,
thing,
fair enough.
Danny,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
the
But
other thing is that in season 5, Tilly leaves the ship to help set up Starfleet Academy, and in this, Starfleet Academy is already set up. So, yes,
it's-
Well,
this is definitely
it's getting
post-season.
it gets set up during that, like because he approaches.
what are you asking? Are you asking if this takes place during
Admiral-
Discovery?
It's post Discovery.
No, it's after Discovery. They've already established that. That's literally been. I'm not talking about the show. Everybody, like the creators and everything else, it's after. It takes place after. Now,
I want to
it
come
doesn't
back to
take
this in the
place-
future.
It doesn't take place
No.
in the year that we saw at the very end of Discovery when Burnham's an old lady and whatever. That's
Yeah,
not
I
in
didn't see.
Well,
any of
yeah,
that, but-
that's just a
No, this takes place right after the show, the series proper itself.
Okay. Well, I don't really know if it matters, but I just
You
because I
brought it up,
because I
buddy. That
hadn't.
makes it. That
Yeah,
makes
you're
it
the
well,
one that brought it up.
Well, like I said, because I didn't finish watching Discovery, and I'm just saying based off the date that I found online, it looked like it would have lined up with the end of
Well,
season 5, maybe
if you
beginning of
finish
season
watching
6.
Discovery, you would know that this has to be post Discovery.
Yeah, I'd be interested just
yeah.
in what you looked at. Not we don't have to do it right now, but I mean, at some point, I'd be interested in what you looked at because what confused me is I was I'm putting stuff together for my own channel, and I was looking at dates, and that didn't come up because that would be a fun thing to bring up. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'd just be interested to see what you looked at.
But
'cause I didn't find it.
Obviously, Laura, I think the answer is simple enough. See what's the last recorded star date in the Discovery series, and compare that to the captain's log in this.
Right.
There you go.
But,
And then add 15 years because the only start date we got
They did
was
talk about Discovery. They did mention Discoveries and whatever. I'm waiting for a Discovery cameo.
well, we got one. We
got one. A Discovery.
And
cameo.
we got
we know
Jet Reno
Tilly's-
as one of the instructors.
We got two.
and we-
I mean,
got
the
two cameos.
ship, the Discovery. I'm waiting
Oh.
for its
Oh,
cameo.
they mentioned it. Can I say something? So first off,
Say
they
it's
mentioned
good.
they mentioned it, but I swear to God, when they were above Bajor, when she said "Let's get out of here," it sounded like, and the way the ship looked like, I swear to God, I thought they were about to use a spore drive. I thought they were about to give a spore drive to every one of the ships.
All of a sudden, it's gonna go. You're like, you guys all suck. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
I did, but I did take a couple notes that I wanted to point out. So this is before both episodes, and I'm sure they're going to be using it a lot. But what did you guys think of the new Star Trek 60-year anniversary opening?
Best part of the show.
That. So it was. I wouldn't say that, but I noticed
would.
two glaring things missing: the Cerritos and the Protostar.
They're
That's
animated.
their animation.
But they
no matter
are
what
including
say.
them in the show, though. They're including.
No, they're not. They didn't include them at all in the show. They mentioned the Protostar, but she didn't mention the Cerritos. The Protostar is past tense also, so who knows? Because this is obviously where all that years.
Well, yeah,
away
but
from
the point I thought of the thing was just for the shows because they didn't put Deep Space Nine in there because it
Yeah, they
wasn't a
did.
ship, but they put in the
Defiant.
They
the
put the
Defiant from
That's-
Deep Space Nine.
that's
So they were.
Do you even watch the show? Do you even watch the show, dude? They mentioned that the computer said it was down, as has happened on many Star Treks ever. Look, I'm okay with real observations, but if you're going to sit here and nitpick over nonsense,
Oh,
he
you're
wants-
talking to Street
That's not
Preacher.
on
You
me.
confuse me when you do that.
Yeah.
Read the question first, so we know.
Yeah, I was
Especially
it
people are
looked like you were-
listening.
Yeah, I thought you
thought
were
you
going
going-
Danny.
I thought you were going down and going hard on him. I was like, that's my job. I mean, I'm
Yeah, right. Like I'm
I
getting
put on
ganged
the
up on.
screen. Sorry,
I
go ahead.
actually have to agree with Dork on this in that the fact that it's animated doesn't matter if it's canon. Then they could have made a copy of it. They could have
I
made a
think the-
real life version.
I thought it would have
I
been
know,
a cool
but that's
touch.
what I'm saying. I think they had it. There were, but I'm like, why would you be worried about making a real life version of an animated ship? What you're suddenly committing to
Well,
it?
no,
You wanna
that
do
whole is
We got
animated
Rock
anyway.
Talk, or that at least the same
well,
species.
to be fair, look at. I mean, if you look at the last season of Lower Decks, the Cerritos look pretty good.
It did.
They really
It
improved
looked
their
real.
animation.
That was back when I
And-
was
And so
reviewing it with you.
and the stylized animation that they do in the opening, yeah, you could easily take the 3D
Yeah.
model of the Protostar and the Cerritos
Especially
and put that in there.
in that
I don't
opening,
think that's the
you
to
know.
me that's not the issue. I think there was just a creative decision to not include animated ships.
And that's probably what it was, but I thought it was cool.
There was a creative decision not to include William Shatner in any of the advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
That has
Um,
since changed.
But
back
I
then, that
did
was a
like.
choice.
I was really actually kind of surprised that they included the OG Enterprise and both OG Enterprises. You know, for
Yeah.
the movie era and the original series.
And they
Consider-
weren't the Strange New Worlds one, like you pointed out.
Well, the Strange New Worlds one does pop in later.
It does pop in later.
The ships pop up in the order that the shows
The
were
shows
produced,
came out. That's
not
why I
in the
thought-
order of release. That's why
Exactly. Yeah.
the NX-01 shows up after Voyager.
After Voyager,
You know,
because it
so-
was the show after Voyager.
Yeah, so it wasn't chronological.
So another note I took, I wanted to get because I want to try to like get you to agree on some positive things, and maybe you won't.
I thought that was a
But
great intro.
I
There's
was
a ton of
so
positive things that I've
so
said
right
so
after
far.
that. What's the
Appreciate it.
first thing we hear? Right after that, 60 years of Star Trek, we hear the Alexander Courage theme, and that popped me. I loved that, and she gives a nice little overview for people like MJ who'd never watched a second of Discovery of what the burn is. You know, and they don't do it every episode. They just do it in that first
No,
episode.
but you kind of have to do that because
Yeah.
now you're establishing.
But
you know,
I like how they did it. They paid homage to the opening of Star Trek, TOS, and TNG, but they used the Alexander Courage theme, which they've never just out. This I think the first time they've just blatantly outright used it. They've hinted at it in like Strange New Worlds and stuff like that, but a lot of the sound effects were from the original. They had a lot of original
Hold on.
series.
Time out. The sound effects? I'm
Dude,
sorry.
yes.
So that's what
in the med bay when they're
that's one of the things I
saving
noticed
number
the
one.
most.
Yeah,
The
but
things I
the problem
noticed
is
the most
sound
was
effects
that,
are
was
layered
that
with
if you
30
listen,
other sound effects.
if you listen, I'm sorry, Star Trek's never had a problem like with the doors. The doors have always been a very stylized.
I saw your review, man. Like, I really wanted you to play.
When you
Hold on, one at a time.
their sound effects for this is like, and I'm like, why is it RoboCop? Why is the door opening so complicated? It can't. I'm sorry, sci-fi and the future. I feel like should be very nice, very simple, clean. It makes sense. But all of a sudden, it's this like thing, and you're
They
like,
added those chairs to the turbo lift. It made it heavier, so the doors need to be I don't know, man. I just fucking.
Yeah, but the problem is that's all the doors. It's not just the turbo lift.
I know. I was just kidding. I was just making.
And yeah, to me, it's like, okay, so you had the simple, iconic sound from the original series of the Doors, and then they update. Like if you look at the original series movies, they updated the sound, except it was just sounded like like an air pressure thing. So it just goes. When the doors open and close.
Yeah.
the most complicated you got was TNG with the holodeck. Because
Right.
suddenly the holodeck had like a
But
whole.
those were like reinforced doors
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
And so
The
but, like,
interlocking doors, like
Because that makes sense. You
to have
want
reinforced
reinforced
doors to the
on your holodeck, yeah.
You got to make sure.
no, it doesn't
Rhino
because
get out.
when the holodeck goes bizarre and tries to kill everybody, like every third time you use it, apparently, then you can't get out because you have reinforced blast doors. So yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, so these doors are. I have to agree with Mr. Know-It-All. The sound is so over engineered. If you wanted to use the original series sound, I would have thought that was awesome.
Okay.
But they throw that in with 17 other sounds.
All right, so Smoke here brings up a really good point. The positive things I did like for SFA was the acting from the seasoned actors. Now, hold on, guys. Some of the humor and graphics I also like. Some of the arcs with some of the students. My issue with the actors, seasoned actors, is let's use Paul Giamatti as an example. He is a very experienced actor who knows how to crank it up and do what he does, and he is dropped into the middle of us trying to discover who these characters are and understand who they are already, and he suddenly just shows up and spins like that character from the Tasmanian Devil. He's just like, I'm here, I'm doing my thing, and you're gonna love me, and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, whoa, bro. I'm going so fast and
To
hard.
that, let me say this: I loved Paul Giamatti.
I literally wrote
And
Paul Giamatti as Nosbraka is gold.
my biggest problem with Paul Giamatti's character is that he was not in episode 2. I will tell you, because the funny thing is, you think of Paul Giamatti as this old toad, like he would have been a good person to play Mole Man in the Fantastic Four movie. He's a little toadly kind of guy, and he always plays comic characters because he's a comedian. But then when he looks at that kid at the trial and says the things he says, he is terrified. When they're dragging his
He was
mother
rough.
away and he's making jokes about
I got
it,
right
and
here. He's like, you hold on to how
it's
much you hate me
terrifying.
right now, kid. It'll keep you warm at night while you sleep with their boot on your neck.
Yeah,
That was. dope.
but I'm thinking about like with just the little things you hear in the background, where he's laughing and going bye bye mommy as they're dragging off.
Dude,
Yeah.
I will say this. See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So my bottom line on the show, and I'm not going to end here. I'm just saying my thought is I kept running. There were moments that I felt were brilliant and really good. Then they would butt right up to something that felt like the stupidest thing I'd seen in a while. And I'm
Like what?
like, how do you do this? Like you have the first, okay, so first off, you have Caleb, who's supposed to be very, very intelligent. Caleb sits there and he's able to like sort out some stuff and he's helping them solve some problems and whatnot.
Oh.
And as soon as they were, sorry?
Sorry for just a second. I want to answer
for it,
this
go
real
for it.
quick. So, Street
Go ahead.
Preacher, you got to pay attention to the show. That sequence takes place before Discovery shows up and before the rebuilding of the Federation, and they do establish at the beginning of Discovery that supply lines are devastated because of the burn.
Yeah, so
And so yeah, that actually makes sense.
so let me talk on that too. Street Preacher
Well,
may have been you
he-
or may have been someone else, but what?
Nothing. He wasn't finished,
Let him
but that's
talk.
fine.
Let him talk.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He's fine. Go ahead, Lord, please.
Were you talking? No, at all. I didn't hear you.
No, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go for it, brother. You're good.
Oh, okay. So Street Preacher, I don't know if it's Street Preacher, but it was someone else's was talking on my channel about how they have replicators and stuff. Here's the thing when it comes to uh, replicators and Starfleet and the Federation. Replicators are great, but first they need energy. They need people to be able to maintain them. They also won't do a lot for a planet that doesn't have a lot of them. And when you completely fracture the Federation and you don't have people that can come and help you and things like that, all of a sudden this wonderful technology becomes a scarcity and people start killing each other over them.
Right.
Like, I don't have an issue with the fact that they don't have food and stuff like that, because again, if we just look at, let's just say that on Earth and just Earth, we came up with replicators and they were plentiful to everyone. And then a post-apocalyptic thing happened. 90% of the replicators go away. Now you got all kinds of wars and stuff happening where the replicators that still exist are there. It becomes a huge problem versus the saving grace.
And I believe they actually do address replicator shortages in Discovery Season 3, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do think, I think that you got to pay attention to the timeline. It kind of gets a little wonky there, but yeah, the trial takes place when the burn was in full effect.
Can I talk on that for a second too?
Yeah, please go for it.
Two of the points to me on that was, first off, there was a tonal whiplash where you have a kid being separated from his mother because she killed a Starfleet officer, and then you have
She didn't kill a Starfleet officer.
because a
She
Starfleet
was an
officer
accessory
was
to
killed.
it.
Is
Right,
what I
and
mean.
it's
Because a
correct.
Starfleet officer was killed.
Right.
And then you have Starfleet 90210, which is a tonal whiplash.
Right.
The other thing I had was the beginning of it is accurate to the way Starfleet would be acting, is accurate to the world, but it also, I don't know, it felt dark for Star Trek.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that that's not what Star Trek has historically been. And I don't know that sometimes just because we can doesn't mean we should. Because I got into an argument on Twitter about this. You saw it, Mr. Know-It-All, because someone was like, well, things change and stuff happens after 900 years. Sure, we could take the My Little Pony and turn Fluttershy into a serial killer because 40 years have passed. Doesn't mean we should, you know?
Although I would pay money to see that.
It'd be good.
So real quick, is there like something having to do with everyone keeps saying, I keep seeing this Sentai Ranger person says that there's AI generated stuff. I don't remember hearing anything about
I
that.
don't
Yeah,
remember any.
I don't know what that's talking about either.
Yeah,
And
I didn't see anything about that at all.
depending on the AI generation, I don't have an issue with it. Of course, you know I'm a sellout to AI generation.
No, right on. No, and I'm with you too. But at the same time, like to me, I'm especially as a filmmaker, I'm helping right
have
now.
you
A friend of
seen
mine
our intro?
do a short film. I have a friend of mine do a short film using.
No, that we filmed
AI
that on
to help
location.
him
Shut up, Danny.
with special effects. But yeah, I just thought it was, again, I don't remember that myself, but I could be wrong. I'm looking it up too to see if I see anything. But yeah, no, I don't know anything.
So, continuing the franchise's theme of artificial intelligence with real-world AI tools also being used for concept trailers. Through the show itself focuses on humanizing.
Concept work. I
So
don't.
again, I'm trying to focus on positive things because it seems like everybody just wants to poop on this show. Did
are you
anybody
talking
else? Did anybody else learn a new word watching Starfleet Academy? Because I did, and maybe that just shows how ignorant I
Sure, I
am.
learned a new word that I really appreciate.
What was that?
Clingerite.
I liked that one as well, but I was going to go for purloining. Purloining. I hadn't heard that before. It means stealing. That was
Yeah.
a teachable,
Yes, it does.
nice moment. Yeah.
Good.
Again, maybe I'm dumb. I did not
All
know
right,
that.
I'll go down Danny's road. I definitely, and actually, we had someone in the comments a minute ago mention something. I liked when the Starfleet kids suddenly had to solve a problem, and I liked the way they did it. I like the teamwork behind it. The doctor shows up all of a sudden. He gives the one girl the in she needs real quick, and she runs. Thank you. And she runs off and she does a thing real fast. And you kind of see, I appreciated that because that's one of those moments that to me felt like this feels like Star Trek, a group working together. Oh no, there's a shortcoming. She hot tails it through that. She's like, I got to run. I got to go as hard as I can to get there because luckily alien fish guy suddenly decides that he can walk outside with his superpower. That's a whole nother thing. But
We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah.
he's doing a really good job sort of saving the day and doing the thing, and I'm down. And I
So-
thought it was a fun moment that I thought felt really, really that felt very Trekish for me. The team coming together, using their strengths, whatever, in order to suss out and figure out a problem because there's no connection and the computer can't help them and the ship's busted, which again is always going to be the MacGuffin. But what are you going to do? So I thought when you have programmable matter as a thing, that's my hard time. Is you sell me on this superior technology of the century and then show me a dogfight that literally could have happened in any of the other previous series. Okay.
So,
See, but that's you see what just happened, Danny. I'm trying to be positive, and something negative butts right up. Watch this. I was like, "What is happening here?"
quick question, which is not what I was holding my hand up for a second ago. So that reprogrammable matter is not from Discovery. I just kind of assumed
it
it
is.
was. It is. Okay, I assumed it was. So that's whatever. but
this is the first time we find out that programmable matter can have different frequencies.
Okay,
and that you can like a virus infect it to be broken, and you're like, "What?"
Well, Salty, if you I don't know if you recall, what did I hopefully you do, but I've always said what was my favorite thing about the original series.
Uhura?
No, seriously.
You could see it in 3D in the
the relationships, right? And I really like how they seem to be planting seeds that focus on building relationships, and there's to kind of Mr. Know-It-All's point.
Okay.
We'll
Let me
get
say
to
this.
discover all those character beats. Oh, wait, that's right. We all get 6 episodes to try to figure out any of these, all these.
I know. I was talking to MJ about this earlier. They'd have to do 4 seasons to equal 1 season of TNG or the original series. That's kind of absurd.
But we honestly don't even need that because it's YA. We know what's going to happen. You have the 2 bullies that are going to become best friends. You have the 1 chick. There may be a 3. There may be a triangle.
No, Caleb's all about that. The Bajoran or not Bajoran. The Beta Z. First daughter.
Sure she's not just a freak of the week?
Yeah, because she's also leading the other guy on. By the way, I really appreciated the sexual innuendo of teenagers when you had the blue backdrop and you just see their silhouettes.
Sorry, hold on.
I appreciated that too.
This is like college. So I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When was the last time? Are we all that far? Are we all that old?
18-year-olds and so first off, 20-year-olds are kids to me. Yes, we are all that old. Just so
Caleb's 21, and the youngest confirmed age at the school so far is the hologram at 17.
You know what, guys? I stand corrected. I apologize. I was 2 years off of these children that we're talking about, since we all could be the fathers of them. So I stand corrected. The 20 and 21-year-old standing right next to each other in a school on a Star Trek in a school on a Star Trek themed episode. I completely apologize for that. So the 2 people that we could all be the fathers to were standing next to each other sexually in a school thing.
But they're college kids. Didn't you fuck
You're
around?
right.
Sorry, didn't you mess around in college?
I'm going to tell you something offline later. Trust me about that.
I would hope that 40 to 50-year-olds didn't talk about it if I did.
So real quick,
It is sexualized for sexualized reasons.
I want to bring this up real quick. I think it's a fair question. Who's the one character from Starfleet Academy that you guys liked? I'll be honest. I'm starting to come around to Caleb a little bit. I think in the second episode they gave him better characterization because he got to just he got to talk and reason and be a person. I'm digging Jaden right now, the Klingon guy, mainly because I had to sit on his thought process for a good day to sort of chew on that, especially because back in SFI, I was that my persona was a Klingon, Starfleet International, the fan club for those of you playing at home. And it took me a while to kind of come to terms with that's not it isn't the normal way of looking at things, but I'm okay with it. Like I actually found it interesting, mainly because Klingons for me have always been so one note, and that note was always we fight, we drink, we blah blah blah, whatever.
He had the sickest burn too.
Can I just ask a question, right? I mean, even Klingons in society had to have doctors, right? I mean, they can't all be warriors, otherwise, or no?
Yeah, but
Yes,
the
they
doctors are probably a guy with a
establish
broken
an
foot who
enterprise.
can't go into war.
Yeah, they do establish an enterprise that Klingons that are doctors and scientists and stuff like that are considered lower castes in society.
So me and Salty are going to disagree on this. I think that there's been inconsistencies, and there are episodes and series where they are shown to be like you put honor into whatever you do versus they look down on other castes.
True.
I will say one thing specific. We talked about. We can go into it today if you want to, Salty, but we actually talked about it last episode. I think that he gave the sickest burn that probably 90% of people missed in the series. So when the bully dude, whoever he is, I keep forgetting his name, Remy, I think, or whatever his name was, when he comes up and starts to pick a fight with the Klingon effectively says, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "You're not fighting you." How do you say it? Fighting you is not even worth the honor, or you're not.
He basically said, "I don't have the time for you."
Yeah, but it was worse than that because Klingons, because Klingons, they're all about fighting and honor, and again, you can get honor through fighting. But he was like, "I'm not even going to fight you because it's not enough honor that I'd get." Like for a Klingon to say that to you, to not want to fight you, I think is a put down that people.
I also kind of feel like he was fronting a little, though.
Equivalent of your mom. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, it was such a great, because the thing is, he doesn't necessarily subscribe to that mentality in its full fruition, but man, he knows how to wield it, because how else you've been raised that way? Of course, you know, and he did great. That was wonderful.
Okay, so his was Jade. Dan, who wants to go next? Lore?
I liked the Jemadar. I thought she was. I thought
Laura.
I'm
Laura
actually
Thought.
starting to dig her too.
I like Laura Thought.
So
That's
here's
MJ's favorite. Is Laura Thought.
But here's my thing. I think that she brought together a good mix of a Jem'Hadar and Klingon thinking, and she was a good comedic relief. But like when she actually talks about her upbringing, and when she talks about honor with the passion of the Jem'Hadar, sorry, Trek Reviewer just took me off. I think that she did a good amalgamation of them.
No, I agreed. I thought she was wonderful. I thought she did a wonderful job in terms of sort of once you got past the thing real quick, she made sense. She made sense, and I think seeing the Chancellor sort of enjoy her being that hard in your face type of drill sergeant type person, I felt like that made it more realistic for me in a way that I enjoyed a lot. I was able to get behind it. And funny enough, I don't think she's fat. I'm gonna take that stance right now. I don't think the internet decided she was this weird overweight person based on a poor makeup job, because I do think they didn't design this well. It reminds me of the guy from the Orville who suddenly has a head this wide because the makeup of his alien design, which is bad. And I feel like but when you see her from afar, I'm like, no, she's just a built person. And I don't see an issue with that at all.
I gotta be honest.
Trek Reviewer said about she doesn't speak Klingon. I don't like the way they spoke Klingon bad, bro. Everybody speaks Klingon bad. That's a bunch of crap. It's like, no, it sounds poetic when certain people say it. No, that's a lie. Okay, Klingon sounds stupid no matter who you are. We love it because we're like into the show of it, and I'm down. But I always felt like an idiot being all like, kaploch, and because it's dumb. Get out of my face.
I thought she was going to send a runner. I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but just because it's funny. When you had the runner going at Boothby Park or whatever, I swear to God, I thought she was going to send someone after. She said, she can always know who the runner is. So you knew she was amping them up to get someone to run. But I thought she was going to have somebody ready.
That's in the second episode, but yeah.
Yeah, but almost like a Starship Troopers type thing. So they run, and then all of a sudden she just clicks her hand, and then just another officer just runs after.
Okay, so Laura, I was just looking it up. What he says is, your challenge holds no value for me.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the burn you're talking about. So.
But I think that again, for a Klingon to say your challenge isn't worth anything. Yeah. He could have been fronting. You could be right. But for me, the way I interpreted it, he obviously didn't want to fight. But I also think he was just saying fighting you has no value. And for a Klingon to say that, that's pretty insulting.
Right.
Yeah. So Salty, who was your favorite character?
See, I'm kind of torn because I told this to Mr. Know-It-All beforehand. I think the show's premise is all wrong. I think based on the characters,
you got to give us a baseline. Hang on, you got to give us a baseline. What do you think the show's premise is before you tell us that it's all wrong?
Well, that's the problem. The show doesn't know what it wants to be. It wants to be
I think it
part.
does, but it doesn't.
It
It's not
wants to be part
leaning into
classic
it.
Star Trek and part, high school drama.
But
And
hold on. But I think that's not. I don't think it's part. That's what you have. You're in Starfleet Academy. What do we expect them to all be?
yeah, but they also decide to make Starfleet Academy into a ship so they can also go out on missions and
It's
try
a
to do it.
convenient. It's a like we haven't had contrived elements in Star Trek
No,
before.
I'm not saying there haven't been. But I
This
think that's a
show is
little
made for like my kid, my kid's age and range in age.
No. I'm not giving
17
it a
to
pass
27.
because of its intended audience. Either be a Starfleet Academy show or be an exploration show. I don't.
No,
It's not an
it
exploration
is,
show
but
though.
No. Listen, you can't. Okay, hold on.
You
I
know
have a
what?
problem.
What do you think is going to
That's
happen in
probably-
the next episode? They're going off to wherever they said that she went to.
Okay, so I wouldn't like that because that would be contrived. But I will say this: it's kind of grown on me that it's a starship, and hear me from a in-universe standpoint. And hear me out on this, Salty, because. And we need to talk about the War College at some point, so let's make sure we get that into. But the Starfleet is supposed to be the science version. I think they actually have now a science and a military version, but we'll save that for later. So it would make sense that the college, the university, whatever, is an actual ship, so they can take the students out and stuff like that. It's growing on me in a little bit because I didn't like it when I first, but the more I think about it, it seems like they it makes sense that they'd want to build it that way. But just as a critique, when I'm thinking about it, why are you going to send your Starfleet Academy ship, the ship with all the cadets, without a escort? Like, I don't know.
Right.
That made no sense to me, too. Like, I get it might be a powerful ship, but still, it has literally the entirety of Starfleet Academy on it. You might send at least one escort with it.
Right.
I'm not gonna-
So
And-
nobody, I guess everybody just assumed my favorite character was the one by the wrestler, right? So
Hold
didn't
on.
have
I hate to
answer.
break it to you.
I
need
still
you
haven't
to
gotten to
do
say
me a
mine.
favor.
I'm just-
Hold on, Danny. We pick on you enough. You don't need to self-flagellate. Nobody thought anything about who your favorite character was.
Listen, so
Please
first
tell
off,
us.
can we please first set out Dork's mom? I have been very nice
Oh
to
my
him.
God, really?
Right now, so please know that I have been the nicest. Besides the little tiff we got into about the 20-year-olds and stuff like that.
Hey
and
man,
I
it's called Nerd
apologize.
Fights. It's called Nerd Fights.
No, I don't.
let my
I
mom
do
scare
not
you.
want. I do not want. No, I know what can happen to a. Well, I don't know if we joke about that stuff anymore. I don't want to get in trouble, so that's all I'm saying.
No, Smoke. I completely agree with
Same.
that. Actually,
Same.
You know,
I agree with that. I do, regardless of what my feelings may be about some of the nitpicks. I do agree with you. I think this is definitely the kind of show that if me as an experienced person could sit with someone and as a younger person's asking questions, I could be like, oh
You know
yeah,
what?
well, no, this is a reference to a thing. It's what Danny said earlier.
I'm sorry.
As we were describing stuff, we sit
Hold
here and
on,
go,
hold on.
you want to see where that came from? Let me show you. That's
Yeah.
what we did with my wife and I did with the Tribbles and with some other stuff that she got into seeing it.
No,
Well, I'm
no,
just
no.
saying, like, I'm just let me finish my thought. Like that's that, and I'm done. I'm done. Go.
All right, so to Smoke's point, no, I would never. And this is going piggybacking off what Laura was saying earlier. I would never sit down with my daughter and watch a hypersexualized teenager show. I'm sorry.
What was
And I think
hypersexualized?
Laura's
sorry.
right about that.
20-year-olds, okay?
What
There's
was
yeah, yeah,
20-year-olds,
hypersexualized?
okay?
What do we?
They
But
didn't
no,
even
you know what?
kiss.
That's not a good example for your kid.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, let's
I'm
watch
like
it.
hypersexualized. What are you talking about?
They didn't even
Okay,
kiss.
so
man.
just
Less than Saved by the Bell characters did.
yeah, I know exactly.
Okay, so on Saved by the Bell, they had a scene where they were backlit by a beautiful blue backlit, and you see the silhouettes, including their curves, just so we're on the same page. Can you point me to that?
What scene are you even talking?
I don't know.
about,
I don't-
bro?
It's in the very first episode. I'm sorry you guys didn't see it.
I haven't watched Saved by the Bell as intensely as you have, sir. So unfortunately, I don't know about that scene.
You got me. I'm a huge Saved by the Bell fan.
Controversial.
You got me. You know, my secondary channel
your new-
is Saved by the Bell lore. You got me. I'm a huge.
Okay. I'm gonna. Okay, let's see if you guys get this reference. Time out. Hey, it worked. Wow. All right. So that was from Saved by the Bell. So my favorite character, since I didn't get to answer that,
You should have froze when you did it. Timeout. Just all of us froze.
yeah,
Sorry.
exactly right. Was the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch, Lieutenant Ya. I mean, she was the only one who took a bump on the bridge when it, like, only one that hit the floor, and
I
my
bet you
man
money
Paul
they were like,
Giamatti, my man Paul Giamatti was
You know-
flirting with her. He was
you know
like
for a
that was
fact
only,
that they were like, hey, we need someone to take a hard tumble. pro wrestler. Get over here.
Yeah, she's
Literally.
like, I
don't even know
got it.
which character is the pro wrestler.
Lieutenant Ya. She had the
she's
short
wearing-
hair, the multicolors.
I'm sorry, I don't know any of these characters by
Tactical
name.
officer Ya.
Lieutenant
which-
Ya.
Hold on.
Hey,
He
hey,
knows
Mr.
that she's
Nodal.
the tactical
Hey,
officer,
Mr.
bro.
Nodal.
I have no clue who they are.
Hey,
yet.
Mr.
Go ahead.
Nodal, I just want to say you're absolutely right. And I want you to check Discord in a second, but you're absolutely right. There's absolutely not one piece of sexualization in this show full of 20-year-olds, which is much more, because if they're 19, they can't do it. But if they're 20, if they're 19, if they're 20, it's okay, because that's apparently important to you guys for some reason. But I just want you to know that you're absolutely right. And there's no sexualization in the show. Don't check your Discord in about 30 seconds.
Nice.
Jeez,
And then Bill's pointing out on this episode, they barely held hands. They basically had long looks.
They
and a bunch
barely
of
held
talk.
hands. Get you guys, whatever.
I mean, they were gonna
justify it.
kiss.
You're right. You're right. And you know what? They're all nature. What were you saying? Nature documentaries and stuff like that. Justify it however you guys want to. It's whatever.
You mean, hold on, you're trying to tell me the ship
Wow.
doesn't have, the ship doesn't blatantly have.
Are you kidding me? You think
like-
that's hypersexualized? Get
So
out of
first,
here.
so first off,
we're
I didn't say. I wasn't the one to say hypersex. I may have said it just then.
Let's
but
get
when I
a
originally said it-
poll in the chat going here. Come on, that's not hypersexualized.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You nailed it. You're right. There's nothing sexual about it. It's My Little Ponies in space. You got me. I'm comfortable.
I think this
I'm
says more
comfortable with
about
us
you
ending. You're right.
By the way,
I'm
than
comfortable.
anything.
I'm
Yeah,
comfortable
I'm
with
like,
us ending this.
agree.
I'm comfortable with us ending this conversation right here. We'll let the fans decide. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah,
I will
let's
say
let's-
this.
Yeah, let's
And-
get
and-
a-
and I
a-
said-
fans-
Hold on.
What
Before
fans?
I saw episode 2, but
That's for my mom because she had a request.
okay.
She
Why
said to
is that
pull
your
up the
mom?
still. No,
No,
she
she
said to
wants
pull
to-
up the
so we know
still
who
of
the
the
character is.
wrestler.
That's the wrestler.
That's Becky Lynch. Yeah.
Stop
Okay.
making it larger, please. Thank you.
Sorry, I was expecting someone a little bigger.
Well, you can see it just fine there. And the thing is, we want to be able to react. We can't react if we're hidden by the screen. So please don't increase the screen anymore. Thank you.
So,
It's not. It's not sexual.
Samuel asks, not a single part of that is sexual. That's just your mind thinking of it that way.
Amen.
Okay, you're right.
Amen.
You're
Exactly
right.
what
I'm
that dude
comfortable with
said.
us leaving it right here.
Yeah.
You're right. You guys nailed it.
yeah. Now I remember.
You
So
nailed it. You're right.
before,
fine.
hold on.
And,
Before I saw,
and pro wrestlers are real athletes.
You're right.
yeah, before I saw episode 2, but after I saw episode 1, I talked to Mr. Know-It-All because I had some stuff to do in between watching them. And I kept asking, what's with the slutty chick? Because every scene she's in, she's trying to get laid with somebody
Which
else.
one is that? Oh, you're
Hold
talking
on,
about Genesis.
hold on.
I don't think
She
she's
didn't try
that.
once to get laid. She
What?
flirted and she told the one dude while he's outside almost dying, hey, I find people almost dying hot as a way to encourage
Yeah,
him.
exactly. That's a
No.
normal thing to say.
She was just
What are you
trying
talking
to
about?
keep
To
it
encourage
alive.
somebody who's in the
Yeah.
verge of doing something potentially death-defying? You're damn right. I'll
You
tell
know,
him
this
anything.
isn't. You're right. This isn't a sexual show. Hey, you know what? I know you're about to die, so I'll let you have sex with me.
She
So,
said nothing
you know
of
what?
the kind,
You know,
and
I'll
you
let
saying
you-
that
I'll let
is
you-
100% incorrect.
You know
I'm
what?
sorry,
I'll tell you
there's
what.
reality,
I'll tell you
and
what.
then there's Laura's
Let's do this.
reality of what's
I'll tell
in
you
his
what.
head.
I'll tell
All
you
I'm
what.
saying.
Maybe I'm wrong. I have a 4-year degree in film, so maybe I'm taking it wrong. Pull up the blue image again and tell me what's happening in that. Tell me the reason for that scene. What does that pull up? Tell me the reason for it from a film standpoint.
Looks
To
cool.
First off, to show
It looks
that-
cool.
Oh,
It looks
can I
cool.
answer the question?
Okay.
Can I answer the question?
I'm sorry. I was
No,
responding to Gordon.
first
I
off, it
apologize.
does look cool. That's cinematography, but that's not the point.
That's
the point
not
of the scene
cinematography.
is these are two characters who are consenting adults, both considered adults, regardless of where we want to, how we see
So,
them. Or
Mr.
not.
Mr. Know-It-all,
Both
Mr. Know-It-all, if it's not
They are adults.
sexual, if it's not
And I didn't
sexual,
say they're
why does,
sexual.
if it's
It's
not
called
sexual,
romance.
if it's not
building a
sexual,
romance.
why do you have to talk about it being consenting? If it's
I
not
didn't say
sexual, what's
because
consenting
no,
have to
you're-
do with it?
no, because
You said they're
guys are
consenting
they're
adults.
children, and I'm not going to let you sit on that because I
You
know you
said
think
they're
everybody else is going to
consenting
let you talk
adults.
all they want.
You're-
But at the end of the day, hang on one second, we're going to solve that right
This
now.
is the best part of the
Now-
show right here.
Okay, at the end of the day, it's not at all in any way, shape, or form acceptable to sit here and say this is hypersexualized and then try to gaslight us. I know that's how you get off. I'm gaslighting people, but I'm going to tell you right now that in no way, shape, or form is going to fly.
I
Because
can unmute myself, by the way.
that's artistic. That's adult. I said consenting because you brought up age and inappropriateness. That's why I said consenting. So at the same time, these are grown people who are literally being in death-defying situations. And I'm sorry, it's CW casting. Now everybody wants to suddenly be like, why do they cast pretty people to flirt with each other? I don't know. Ask the casting people. But at the same time, they're in college. What do you think happens in college?
What?
Like, genuinely.
You're agreeing with me. You just agreed with me. Yes, it is a sexual show. They are in college. They have hormones
There's nothing
going on.
of the sort. But I understand you don't understand nuance, and that's fine.
You're right. I got
That's
no
cool.
idea nuance. I don't know nuance at all. I've done nothing with nuance. You still haven't answered my question, though. And
It was
by
the
the way,
question because you keep attacking
what-
every time you try to. Try again.
This way. What's the point of the scene?
I told you.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's romance. That's called sexual tension because they are sexes, male and female. That's why. And at the end of the day, we want to try to show that there is potential there for them to be a thing. But then the next
hold on.
blow that out of the water.
Time out, both of you, time out. So just to be clear, Laura, and I agreed with Laura, Laura says that this scene is blatant sexuality. You're saying it's romance to build sexual tension.
Yeah, because they're going to
Okay,
eventually.
so wait. Isn't that saying the same thing with different words?
No, but because he's making it sound malicious, I'm saying it's part of the storytelling. You don't like the storytelling, don't watch the story.
Let's self-correct. Why do you think it's malicious? When you say that, why do you think it's malicious? You said that I was doing it in a malicious way. Why am I being malicious?
Because on purpose you're framing it in such a way as to make it something dirty, whatever. And I'm like, it's not. These are grown-ups.
It's
These
a
are grown-ups
Star
in
Trek
high
show.
tension.
So,
Can I
hey-
finish answering your question? Or are you just going to talk over me because you don't
apologize.
actually want the answer?
I'll
Then
mute.
you want to turn around and accuse me of not answering your question when you don't give me an opening to answer the question. Which one would you like? I will wait for you to tell me how you'd like to structure this discussion because you don't actually want to have a debate. You want to talk and be heard. So by all means, go ahead, sir. Talk and be heard. Matter of fact,
Man, I am sexy on here. I will mute my
You're sexualizing yourself, Laura.
I am. You're right. I will mute this for you so that you can talk. I have never said that you didn't answer. Well, I did say you didn't answer because you didn't answer what the question was for, or at least I didn't think you did. But I will mute myself and I will not talk till you say it's okay.
the purpose of the scene is that in that moment, they were dealing with a lot of stress. And at that same time, they're trying to have a moment. He just got caught doing something he's not supposed to be doing from what Salty wants to label the slutty girl. Well, that's fine. I won't get into that discussion. And so what happens is, how do you distract in a moment when you don't want the person worried too much about what you were or were not doing? You use what you have available to try to sit and go, hey, so forget whatever's happening. Forget the fire that's happening here. How are you doing? And the lighting is there. And notice they didn't really go much further than that. It didn't proceed past that. It did the job it was supposed to do. Now, do we get conflicting messages the very next episode? Absolutely. Because clearly he don't give the care about her whatsoever. But then again, don't forget, Salty called her the slutty girl. So whatever.
I called her that before I saw episode 2. I pressed
So, on a much lighter note, what'd you guys think
Well, hold
about
on. Can I
Stephen
respond?
Colbert as
Can I
the
respond?
Dean?
Hang on.
I muted myself and allowed him
I
to
know.
answer.
That's what I say. Now, Laura, can come back.
Especially since he went completely off on me, I made sure that it was okay. So let me have my response.
Now it's Laura's turn.
Because here's the thing, my fellow friend, we're literally, to Salty's point, saying the same thing, except you're wanting to add context to the story when that wasn't what I was talking about. I was just saying that there was sexual stuff in the show itself. We both can be right. It can be a table and made of wood. There's context to why they're at where they're at, right? I'm pointing at this screen, by the way. It's you guys.
I get
I don't know why you're doing that.
Good.
So I'm pointing it at that. So it has sexual stuff. I never said hypersexuality, though I did agree with it after Salty said. I will step. Right now, I will step back from that, but I do think that it has sexualization in it that is unnecessary. I think there are, and yes, I am an older guy, and I don't think that, I think that certain poses and things might be inappropriate because I'm 40 fucking plus. I'm double their age. Okay, now maybe that makes me a curmudgeon, and that's okay.
I think it just makes
But-
you uncomfortable, and you're exposing a lot more about your inner psyche than I think you'd like
You're
to.
right. It makes me uncomfortable. You're correct. You nailed it. Thank you for adding that for it. I appreciate that.
I feel like Danny felt left
I
out.
appreciate that.
feel like
I
that's why
appreciate
he-
that, Dork Knight.
Let's
I
kind of
appreciate
conflate
that.
things.
Hey, Dork Knight, what topic did you want to bring up? Because I can't wait for us to discuss that one. Go on and tell
Hey,
us.
what did you think about Stephen Colbert's The Digital Dean? That was a fun little thing, right? I'm just trying to lighten the mood.
I
I'm
didn't
just
even
trying to
realize-
lighten the mood.
So you take a shot at me saying that I'm uncomfortable and I somehow
Only to go to something.
I
very-
somehow covet 20-year-olds and I'm trying to put that off.
I
on
never
you.
said that. Whoa,
You're
man!
fucking- you're
See,
fucking-
you're
I
just
never said
exposing
that.
more of your
I
inner
never
psyche,
went out and
bro.
said that, guys.
Guys,
I don't know
this,
what
though.
he's saying.
Preacher, I think
never
you might be
said-
onto something.
I think Preacher's onto it. Yeah, nail on
Yeah,
the head right
that's
there.
right there. But you
Well,
never
you know,
said it.
hold on.
You never said it, Dan.
Let me rein
Go
this
ahead,
back in.
Salty.
for
You
just-
haven't had a chance.
Hold on,
I didn't know it was
guys.
Stephen Colbert. I didn't know it was Stephen Colbert, by the way. Oh,
Yeah, it was Stephen Colbert's The Digital
So,
Dean.
first of all, I never got to talk about my favorite characters, so just to make that clear.
that was 30 minutes
I
ago.
tried to like 18 times, but you guys kept stopping me.
Go ahead, guys. I'll listen.
Yeah, as you pull out your book.
No, if it was actually his
Anyway.
book, like the book Danny wrote, that would be awesome. Go on, Salty.
You have a
So-
book
so-
that you wrote?
All right,
Oh, sorry.
so I was pleasantly surprised by the Jem'Hadar chick. However, I didn't like the way she was written because she literally would walk in and say, "Hi, here's my name. I'm part Jem'Hadar, part Klingon. Here's the Jem'Hadar line I'm from. Here's the Klingon." And I get it. You know, it's too condensed as far as they're throwing all this exposition at you about her in her intros. That's feels totally inorganic. However, overall, pound for pound, I think best character in the show, unfortunately, was a guest star, and that's Paul Giamatti. If I had to pick a character that's a regular on the show, I would honestly probably pick Holly Hunter's character.
She did some great acting. She did some great acting.
It's not her acting.
Okay,
chops.
pause there, Laura, or not Laura. For God bless, forgive me. Pause there, Dork. Okay, I don't know if she looked great. Continue, Salty. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So no, here's the thing. I like the fact that they did a good job, and this is, I'm complimenting the show here, just to be clear. I think they did a good job at establishing why she left Starfleet, and the fact that she's being brought back in, and because things have changed, and she wants to help make things better. I like the fact that they're showing her character. Basically going through some stuff. She didn't like what she had to do in the beginning. It was a tough time, blah, blah, blah. And now she's trying to make up for what happened.
I want
I'm
to.
totally doing the thing I accused Danny of doing. I'm sorry. You can call me out, bro. I'm totally doing. I
No,
did the
it's-
same thing.
Danny's just never going to let me finish anything. But go ahead. Danny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were.
no.
I was
Go
gonna-
ahead. You already stole my thunder.
I actually don't even remember what I was going to say now. I'm sorry.
of course.
No, okay, I do.
Oh, he was
guy.
he was literally going to finish it, and you just interrupted.
He was
him.
going to tell me about how I'm psychologically attracted to Holly Hunter or something.
No, I was just going to say.
Yeah, why are you guys going after me when he's talking about chicks being?
Yeah,
No,
real
the-
quick. Can we actually bring up for 2 seconds a real thing? Nader Tot just said, I felt the conflict resolution with her character was too quick and felt unearned to me. It felt like it was over in a span of like 10 minutes. That's a result of how short we don't have 20 episodes like we used to have, where you would normally get that over like 5-6 episodes of exploration. They had to like cram it in quick. So by the next episode, they're already making up and like,
that's
all right, we're working together now. That's great. We're going to go
That's
find your mother sometime. And it's like, what are you going to do?
That's a
I'm with you.
symptom of a bigger problem that Hollywood has because of streaming, I believe. But no, what I was going to say was the scene
budgets.
where
Do
the scene
20
where Holly Hunter's character, what's her name? Captain. What's her name? Captain. What is her name?
Nobody has a normal name. And
I know.
Nala Ake. Yeah, they all have Star Wars
Ake.
names. It's weird.
Yeah. So Captain Ake, when she goes to the Tarothan prison, I thought that was really good. I thought that scene was very good. When she's like, "I've been looking for you for 15 years." That scene, I thought that was
Right.
a really good.
No, she actually.
Scene.
I think Holly actually brought her A game.
So I'm sorry. So I did not mean to. I thought if you remember what you were going to say, please finish. I apologize.
No, unfortunately, I don't.
One of the
remember
three of
exactly.
us will interrupt you. Don't worry. Just go.
That's
for it.
okay. Well, I was actually just thinking about how Mr. Know-It-All is probably talking about the artistry of that scene, and I agree with you, and I think that there's another show that's really artistic that you'd like. It's called Sex Trek: The Next Penetration. Really, really good.
Okay.
You would really
Listen.
appreciate the artistry.
Listen, no, guys. Before you get on to him about it, they're 20. Okay, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's
20
okay.
years
Sex
old.
Trek, they're all 20.
They're 20 years old, so it's all right. It's fine. And by the way,
He's not letting that
so
go.
you know, my fellow brother in Christ, know it all. Show all the comments coming after me. Do it. I don't care. I want to. Do it. Don't think like I don't notice you doing that. Please, God, do more. Okay, do it. Come on. That's all right.
man.
You and me, because this is a nerd fights, right? This is WWF. You and me, we're the ones that hate each other for this round. So that's okay. Do it, buddy.
No, but it also, I get what you're saying about they're trying to set up the mood and all that. I think my problem with her in episode 1 is that they try to establish a sexual tension between her and like 5 other people.
That's true. I will go with you there. And
that's what I talk about. Hypersexualized. That's what I'm
the
talking.
thing is, we live in a world where they've made it okay that. And by the way, I have no issue with women owning their sexuality. Fine, but they've made it almost a weird badge of honor that everyone's got to be when they're at college. They have to go
body
through their
count and all that
or
crap.
something stupid, right? And I'm like, I don't necessarily know that I agree.
But that doesn't mean I want it normalized.
So Laura, my 2 daughters or stepdaughters are watching right now, and they're 20 and 23.
Oh, you're fine with all this.
No, and they just texted. I just got a text message. Can you please tell Laura? Can you please tell Laura he's creeping the girls out with his obsession? This is coming from actual 20-somethings.
I got it.
Creep them out, man.
Hold on, between your mom and now your kid, you don't get to stop sicking people on us.
2 of the kids.
His family is obsessed with me. I get that his family is obsessed with me. I understand that. But listen, man, I got it. You like watching 2 20-year-olds look at each other in this with this come at me eyes. I'm not comfortable with it. I got it, man. Hey, please stop sending your family after me.
Laura.
Please stop sending your family after me, dork. I can't take it.
Hold on, Laura. Let me just say this, because in Danny's defense, he's obviously he's comfortable with his sexuality. He's comfortable with the idea of polyamory. He's comfortable with the idea of big body counts for 20-year-olds. And he's willing to talk to his 20-year-old daughter about that and say how awesome it is. So
I do think this is worth having a conversation
That was so
about.
awesome.
Imagine if
Oh,
they
I'm
had a
gonna clip
Delton
this and
at that school. Salty.
Oh man, if they had a Delta at the school,
Yeah,
it would literally
I'm gonna
be the
clip
next
this
penetration.
and upload it to my channel of over 130,000. I'm gonna make you fucking famous, dork. Oh man. Oh, that was
Dork
fun.
Knight's channel just goes skyrocket. Bill brings up a good point. This is far less hypersexualized than Strange New Worlds or even Voyager, and I'm like,
especially Enterprise, those decontamination.
Oh, totally.
Hold on. Let me.
They were
say something.
30.
I have said consistently for decades how much I do not appreciate the cat suit wearing females from the Berman era.
So I don't think, and I thought this. Hey, I thought this.
Yes, Smoke.
I thought this when I was 25, dork. Okay, so just so.
Well, that's because they were 20.
I was 20 at the time.
If they were 25, you would have been okay with.
Oh no, I thought this when I was 25. I just don't think Trek has ever done well when they try to do sexualization and stuff.
No.
hang on, I'm sorry. Everyone knows TOS. We know Yeoman Rand wanted the captain's log.
Oh, she got the captain's log.
Stop it.
No, she did not.
No, but
Yeoman
if
Rand
you
never
look at
did.
TOS,
But was
if
she
you look at
20?
TOS
That's what I'm worried
But if you
about.
look at TOS, they were.
Tell me
Now,
about
everyone will
Yeoman.
argue it was the '60s, but I don't know. I mean, they were. If we all agreed that Star
Actually,
Trek,
you know
was a
what's
timeline-
interesting about the original series is that Kirk even talks about the fact that he has an attractive female yeoman, but he's not allowed to notice.
I remember that one of the captain's
Yeah,
logs. Yeah. He's lamenting.
and I'm not
about
allowed
it.
to notice.
He's like, I don't know what Starfleet was thinking, giving me
because
a female
Kirk was
yeoman.
actually a professional.
Yeah.
That's one thing I think about Kirk. He was a professional.
He
That's
was
right.
no,
He
you
made
know what?
sure there was
It's like
no
every-
planet
he
that
didn't.
was
He
unsafe.
did not bone his crew.
That's you know what? I always thought that was hilarious. I'm like, why is everybody suddenly going in for Picard? What's going on there?
Right.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, that
crazy,
made
though.
no sense as far as But yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
we kind of dipped our. I mean, we're an hour into talking about
Well,
episode 1. Let's talk about episode 2. I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say I want to talk about season because I'll say this. We don't have to start with it. We can end with it. I'll say this, and I told Mr. Know-It-All this. I think one of the most Starfleet and Federation things, like one of the even Legacy Trek things, happened in season 2.
episode 2.
Episode 2, you're right. Yeah, because when I looked at it and that happened, I was like, that's the original spirit of Star Trek, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will disagree. Yeah, it was. Well, no, it actually was when they had the two 20-somethings that were standing next to each other, looking at the humpback whales because of how the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come back
Yes.
in.
Yeah.
Almost the same as
Keep doing it, buddy.
What do they have about
I'm
20-year-olds
clearly,
silhouetted?
clearly,
Keep doing it, Mr.
Caleb-
Know-It-All. Mr. Know-It-All, keep bringing them up. Bring all of them. I want to see
Yeah,
all the
but
comments. Keep doing it.
Clearly.
Oh, I'm
what's
doing
his
it
face?
too,
Caleb?
Lord. Don't give him all the credit.
Clearly, Caleb has a move, and that's finding the deep blue light, the shadowy sort of
Yeah.
effect. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
So,
starting to
okay,
see
I'd
stuff.
rather you do that, Mr. Dork, than continue to send the females in your family after me.
I
So
didn't,
if you
man.
can-
I didn't. Like, I
I'm
didn't know
sure
the
you
girls
did.
were watching.
I believe you. I believe your mom didn't come to my channel on purpose. I believe you didn't reach out to them to come at me. I believe you.
I did.
I believe you. I don't know why we're still having the conversation. It is a YA show. That's one of the all of the things we have a problem with is because it's a YA genre.
Well,
and
I
it's not
love the
YA.
Flash. Would you?
Well, but
I've
also,
had
here's the
a lot
thing.
of
Remember,
people
too,
say that
YA
was-
means a lot different today than it used to mean. I'm not saying that's right, but I'm like, and the people who are writing this are closer to that generation than we are. Because these are not older, experienced sci-fi writers writing this. Like you said, these are Gilmore Girls
Really?
writers who are
No, well, the girl from
dating life of Gilmore Girls and how that whole show panned out. Or whatever.
Tawny something or other from Lower Deck. She's one of the writers.
Is she? Is she credited?
Yeah,
as
she
being a
is.
writer?
She's-
Tawny, the actress, is
Tawny
Tawny.
Newsom is a writer.
Yeah,
on
Yeah,
that.
Tawny Newsom. Yeah,
Yeah, she's a writer and producer now.
She's one
Does
of
she
the
have?
writers and a
Not that
producer.
she can't write something good, but does she have any experience writing? Is this her first time doing it?
I
I'm not
think- I
saying
don't
she's
know.
doing it badly. I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
Yeah,
I think
I
for
don't
the
know,
last
but
couple
I don't
seasons
think
of
she
Lower Deck,
belongs
she
to
was
the writers room
contributing.
here.
Oh, was she? Okay, I didn't know. I was just curious.
I think, and I know she was supposedly working on a side project that was also supposed to be some sort of a Star Trek comedy, live action comedy.
Yeah, they were going to do a live action with actual Mariner or whatever her name was, right? I thought that's what I heard. I don't know how true it is.
Maybe true that.
So anyway, what are we talking about? Season 2? We talking about the humpback whales? Or
The episode 2. I actually okay. So the guy, how come the beta Zeds aren't? Why are they using sign language? All of them.
Why aren't their eyes completely black? That was my biggest beef.
So
They're supposed
Have
to
you
have
ever-
black eyes.
okay. I don't want you to get your grandma after me, so I won't say anything. So,
Hold on, real quick, just so that Laura is aware. So Tawny Newsom is an established writer because in 2013 she wrote "Too High to Rap," a short film.
I stand correct.
That is her entire writing credit
I'm
prior to Star Trek live action project and Starfleet Academy.
Hey, just for a second, don't yell at me. I swear it'll only be for a second. But Lore, when it comes to my family, what's that say?
You will
You
not.
will not live in fear. Yes, my friend. You
So
will
I
not
won't-
live in fear.
Of your family?
Yes, you don't need
what's
to.
your thing about people silhouetted against?
I don't know, right?
Are they 20? Is that okay? Can we look at that? So, what was the original? What were we? Oh, because so I had to go back and look at it because I didn't know either. And on my show, I was like, why are they doing sign language? That doesn't make any sense to me. The actor and the character who is the head of Beta Z is
Yeah.
deaf. He's deaf in universe and he's deaf in real life. And so that's why they're doing sign language and stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and proactively address this because some people had an issue with it. But Trek has done stuff like that in the past with people with disabilities and stuff where they've brought it into the show and had it addressed. So
Yeah.
the fact that they did this, it happened in Legacy Trek. I don't necessarily have a
And did anybody else notice online all the hubbub
Hang on a
about?
second. Hang on. Don't hang on. I don't leave it this too quick. My only problem with it is not that it exists. My problem with it is you're telling me that by the 32nd or wherever century they are, these are not common things that have been healed yet.
So
It doesn't
I
make
was
sense
gonna.
to me.
I
what do we
was
do?
gonna. So even Captain Kirk was allergic to red.
That's what I'm saying. By the 23rd century, we still had people who had to have glasses.
Okay,
So,
you're right. 23rd. Now let's move 1,000 years into the future.
And well, the captain put glasses on.
She's a
on the
lanthanite.
bridge.
That's because she's old fashioned. That's the same thing with what's her face from
Okay.
he likes her.
What
old school
about
stuff.
the nerd next to him in the snot class? He had glasses on.
it's actually
let
easier
me
than
say
that.
this.
though.
Let me say something about
It's
this.
easier than that. Just to finish, and then Salty, you can do it. I know. Just to finish, 1,000 years later, they might have diseases or things that impact hearing that can't be healed. So the things that they can heal now,
Or alien things. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So I need that
So,
Salty.
yeah,
I need
let me-
the
let me-
clip
let
of
me
Picard
piggyback
saying
off
that
that a
we
little
killed
bit.
all diseases in the future.
Hold on,
First
Danny.
contact.
Danny. Shh. All right. So
Yep.
I would say
He
this:
doesn't have to say
you
nothing today.
you might be able to suggest that by 1,000 years after the 23rd century that they've cured all disease, right? But would they be able to cure if somebody was born without the nervous system required to hear, which is that like for example, if you're born without an optic nerve, you can't cure that, right?
Look at Geordi.
Huh? Well, Geordi wasn't
Geordi.
born without. Was he born blind? I don't
no, that happened in a fire.
Yeah.
But that's
Something happened. Yeah.
But that's the
But-
other thing. Even in the 24th,
Yeah, Geordi was. Yeah,
Go ahead.
but anyway, I'm saying that. So if he was born without missing part of his nervous system that made it so he couldn't hear, you could argue, okay, that can't be cured. My problem with it was that they made him a freaking betazoid, because betazoids are all telepathic, and except for Troy, they could all, and we saw it in TNG all the time. Lexana was constantly going, "Oh, Picard, you're thinking such nasty things." They can hear and project.
Thank you, by the
thought.
way. I needed that. Thank you.
Yeah, they did that all the time on the show. Troy was able to communicate telepathically with Riker because they were bonded, but Troy could easily communicate telepathically with her mother because they were both betazoids. Hold on, Danny. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever to have a deaf betazoid signing when all he has to do is telepathically tell someone what is going on. And even if he couldn't project it to a human, he could have a betazoid there that simply speaks for him. It's the dumbest thing.
And I think they've actually done something like that, not with betazoids, but they've done something.
Right, there
similar
was
with
an
other-
issue
Right.
TNG, episode of TNG where it's something like that. But
Right.
if you're gonna do that, you want to bring this guy in because you think he's such a fabulous actor, great. Don't make him a betazoid. Make him an Andorian. Make him a Tellarate. Make him anything but a freaking telepath.
So, if I may, Tarima seemed to show telepathic ability when she met.
For everybody playing at home who's not as versed in the names, that's the Betazed girl.
Yeah,
Official
when she found Caleb literally on the fence, she said she told him what he was thinking. Remember,
No, she said what he was feeling.
Feeling. She did say what he was
Oh,
feeling. It just happened to be kind of on the notes.
But that
Okay,
that
yeah,
is
okay.
that is actually, by the way, that is actually, for those of us that like watch way too much of it, that actually is a important thing, because betazoids are allowed to feel empathy. They can't help it. They're going to feel the empathy of you. But
Really?
yeah. That was established in TNG. They can't help it. They just feel it. But reading minds is an active choice, and it is something that, at least in the 24th century, was either taboo or outlawed. I forget which one, but
It was considered very poor form to read somebody's mind without permission.
Exactly. So maybe they'll address it. Maybe they won't. But I got a question. What do you guys think about this? And unless he makes it big, I won't.
By the way, I hate when you do that. Just so you're aware. When you're like, I got a question. Here's a picture. I'm very gun shy now.
Okay.
Just
Don't
like-
no. Look at that. What does everybody think about that? Do you know
But
what
I
I'm
think
it's
it's stupid. About the stubby footed person. Wait, she's a hippie. What do you mean stupid?
the
She's
bare feet? No, I'm just
she's
wondering
a
what.
chancellor. She can do. I know. I'm moving it so we can react now, bro.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to as well. Sorry.
Okay, the feet thing. One, she's a hippie, and they kind of established that, so I was able to roll with it. And she sort of says, she gives the whole grounding excuse, which is whatever. Grounding, for those of you playing at home who doesn't necessarily maybe know, it's when you touch your feet against a surface of some sort, usually connect to the earth. I don't know how it works with starships, but whatever.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, yeah, I mean, it's their quirky way of having her show, just like her curling up all kittenish on the in the captain's chair with her reading a book, like it's the sofa in her
Okay,
living
cool.
room.
I didn't have a problem with it either,
Okay.
but online, a lot of people seem to have a
so
problem.
here's my thing with it, and I don't know how salty you'd feel about it, but here's my thing. If the director of NASA was in front of the head of the United States Naval War College and the top admiral of the U.S., like the top admiral of the United States. Is that appropriate? I get
hang on.
you agree. It is
Hold on.
completely a storytelling thing. She
but
is
who
the chancellor. She is the head of NASA. Is what I'm saying. That's what I compare her to.
She's
The
trying,
head of NASA.
but she's just been so she's trying to flex. I felt like it was a flex more than anything, especially the way she talked to him a little. She
Right.
was purposely a little bit disrespectful.
She is
I
a
took that.
high-ranking Starfleet officer and the chancellor of the school, and so she now has no right whatsoever to scold one of the students for being out of uniform, because she's walking around barefoot in an area that they even point out that you're not allowed to be barefoot.
Trekker
And
viewer
so
says,
what
"Oh,
happens if a
Trekker's very
student does?
unprofessional."
Yeah,
Well, that's what a lot of
unprofessional is an
people. That's what a lot of
understatement.
people have been saying with the barefoot thing. That's kind of why I wanted to bring it up. I need
Yeah,
people.
I
to
had
have
a
opinion.
problem with it because look,
See, I
as-
didn't, but
you know, as a person who was in the military, I couldn't even imagine if a high-ranking officer was walking around barefoot around base, and when they're meeting up with a visiting general or something. That makes no sense.
And talk about grounding to him. Not to interrupt, but to
Yeah.
just back up what
Yeah,
you're saying.
bring up the
That-
pseudoscience of
yeah,
I
it's
grounded them.
grounding. Yeah.
So I think that now her curling up like a kitten on the captain's chair, I have no problem with that, right? Because she's a tiny little lady. That kind of makes sense. All right, fine.
well, and she was reading a book, so that's always hot.
Did,
when
you know
someone's
that, did
reading.
anybody else? I love the fact that the chair gave. It was like she's in a car. It adjusted
Yeah.
for her.
I
sitting.
actually thought that was a nice touch too.
thought
Well,
it
they
was-
kind of did that with Archer. Remember, they had.
Yeah,
to
when,
adjust
well, they
his
replaced the
chair.
chair, remember, for Archer, and he like, I like the old one better, you know. So
Yeah.
I little touches like that, I'm fine with. I think that it was completely unprofessional for her to be walking around barefoot. I didn't like that at all.
Bill points out that it is established by military standards or protocol would be considered inappropriate. That was a conversation that happened briefly in that moment. I
Yeah.
get it.
So yeah, and because she is the chancellor, she has to hold
Captain's
herself.
prerogative.
high-
I mean, captain's choice, captain's prerogative. I get it.
So we want the chancellor of Starfleet Academy to be a do as I say, not as I do person. Just so
Imagine,
we're on the same page.
yeah. Let's
be
put
real
this
for
in
a second.
proper
Just throw it-
context.
Mom used to
All
say
that-
that to me.
No,
all the
hold
time.
on. All three of you started talking, but it was only Mr. Know-It-All that gave me that face. Can you please repeat what you just said? Because you.
I said, I mean, aren't we all kind of as adults? Don't we all just sort of live in that weird like do as I say, not like we teach
But-
our kids don't do the things that I did when I was younger because it's bad, which I agree with. But I'm saying we're living contrarians in terms of. But I'm with you. I get what you're coming at, and I
Well, yeah, because
She's
like
the teacher,
Danny
though. That's-
teaches his daughters that polyamory is awesome, but he doesn't.
That is not true. That is not true.
Dude.
For the record. That is not true.
stop.
It's not even funny. I told
I
you. a
do
couple
agree
of
with
them are
Smoke.
watching.
I do agree with Smoke. I think that's how I took it. I took
Maybe
Yeah.
she did, but you know what? Okay, so I'm going to West Point because I'm thinking about
Okay, you
becoming an
keep-
officer. Hold on, Mr. Noto. I'm going to West Point because I want to be an officer in the United States military, and the commandant of West Point is walking around the grass barefoot because he wants to connect with nature, and that's not professional. That's not going to happen.
Well, is that commandant like 400 years
Real
old
quick,
and had to be begged to come back to work? You know,
how many that's another point too, is as a 400-year-old character, and they do the same thing with Pelia on Strange New Worlds. They kind of give them a level of deference because of their like tenure in life, that they're like, look,
Right.
you can
But
tell me
Pelia
you want.
was not
400 years old guy. Okay,
Pelia
you
was
literally
not the
is like-
commandant of Starfleet Academy.
she's the ship's engineer, though, isn't she? The chief engineer.
I know, but here's the thing: you guys keep. What's funny is you keep acting like somehow her here because the behavior that matters to everyone, and this is how I took it, is not her what she does in the off time. Quite frankly, it's at every order she gives, every command she oversees, when she's sitting here, what she expects, she makes very clear. Because herself walking through the promenade is barefooted and happens to run into some folks. I don't necessarily
okay.
know.
So here's the problem. Hold on.
Wait. Let me say
I'll
something.
put you-
real
I
quick
got a
from my-
real good
from-
point. You go first, but I got a real good point.
All right. That would be fine if she was nowhere near Starfleet Academy. You can, off time for the chancellor of the academy, and I'm just telling you from military experience. If you are a high-ranking official of a military base, your only off time is when you are not on base. She cannot claim off time if she's walking around within Starfleet Academy. Go ahead, Laura.
I think
No,
you're
hold on,
forgetting.
hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you
She's
this.
a lanthanite
What was-
bondage, Brittany. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What was her first when she was talking to him? Like not when she was like not when they were on the way and she did that, but when they actually got to Sausalito, California, or whatever it's called. What was?
Have you guys seen that short? Salty.
Hang on, let Laura finish. Shut up, Danny.
I'm interested in the short. What short are you talking about, Danny?
I put up
Sausalito.
a short about them landing in Sausalito.
Yeah.
I will literally delete you. Go.
I think that we should watch the short. I'm more interested in that now.
I hate
Can
you
pull up
both
the short
so
and-
much. Now I was actually trying to pay
I
attention.
know you
No,
were.
no, I know where Laura was going with this.
I know you were, and that's
sorry.
why
Please
I'm punishing
continue.
you so that you can get your co-host under control. So that's why you're being punished for it.
Sorry.
I would love it because it really contradicts everything you just said. But you know what? I'm comfortable with us just leaving it right here. So that's
Oh, don't do
No.
that. No, don't do that.
I'm comfortable with leaving you. I hate you so much.
So her speech to the first officers, like her official speech once they're in Sausalito, the
Right.
first thing she tells them is, you know what you do? You make your bed. You follow directions, you follow the policies, you be Starfleet officers, you make your bed.
And even before that, what did she fight with him about? Putting on a uniform.
So those two things. So here's the thing, and here's why this is important. She is the leader. She is over all of Starfleet Academy. They look up to her. They have to do what she says. She doesn't even follow what she says. She sets double standards. She doesn't follow the rules. Why would you ever respect? You know what? You're right. People can just double talk. You're right.
No,
You
not
got
what
me.
I mean.
Got me,
Not what I
Noah.
mean. That's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. I don't know you're, but what I mean is like you sit here and say people should. She establish this is not what she's establishing is. Listen, if you want to get to this place, if you want to be what the kind of people that you see around us, this and that, whatever else, then you got to there's rules, there's protocol, there's ways to get. You have to earn that position. You have to earn that place. She has earned both in 400 years of life and her previous whatever she had, and now as the chancellor, the right to have a little bit of, I would say, prerogative. Now, I don't take it as full blown disrespectful. Now she's in her uniform and doing it. That I missed. Because that's a very different stature, and I think I would fall on the side of the fence with you guys if that were the case. She was literally in sweat and leggings and whatever crop top or whatever, and just walking through the thing. I don't know. I just feel
And
I
that
didn't
in
see
and of
that
itself
major a
is-
thing. I will say to Salty's point that he made, this isn't West Point. Hang on. This is the brand new, reestablished. They're now setting both tone and everything else. And I'm not saying, by the way, that doesn't make it better. But what I'm saying is,
Makes it
they
worse.
don't have none of these people. What they've got is like legend and lore, no pun intended. All right, but when it comes to what Starfleet was or was supposed to be or whatever else, they don't necessarily. So there isn't that hallowness. Now, maybe by virtue of that argument, there should absolutely now be almost an extreme to reestablish it. And I'd be willing to go there with you. But they don't have but you keep using this. It's West Point. It's this. It's the other. It's all those things. Those are established institutions. Starfleet.
Real quick, I want to help
300 years ago.
I want to help this guy out. So, Wolf Kinder 3 keeps talking about Kirk going to the bridge. So, first of all, you're thinking of the episode, the Corbomite maneuver. He was in sickbay getting his physical when he got the emergency call to go to the bridge. He got into the elevator with no shirt, and as soon as he found out that it was not a pending the attack, he said, "All right, I'm going to go to my cabin and change first." So, no, he didn't go to the bridge without a shirt, but he was heading there thinking it was an emergency.
So
Well, I know there's also more than one event when Picard walked right out of having been doing something in the holodeck or something else in like pajamas and literally steps forward and is like having conversations with.
But that's
apples to oranges.
but if you're talking about an
What'd you
emergency,
say? Hold on, what'd you say?
situation-
What'd you say, Laura? I didn't hear you. What'd you say, Laura?
I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, Salty. I was just saying, and to me, that's apples to oranges because an emergency is happening while they're doing off-time stuff. But obviously, they're not going to change while this emergency is happening. They're just going to show up to the bridge, and then kind of like what Salty was saying. If it's not an emergency, they then go get in uniform to get everything taken care of. She wasn't experiencing any of that. She was talking to the head of the War College, a general, and she was talking to the head of the armed forces of Starfleet.
yeah, with Admiral Vance.
Admiral Dad, or whatever the people like to call him these days.
Admiral Zaddy.
So since Laura brought it up, this was something I was going to bring up. Have any of you read the book "Make Your Bed" by Admiral McCrave?
Never heard of
A
it.
long time ago.
It's a really good book. I highly recommend it. It's I actually have it on the shelf over there. But they lifted from him because
Yeah.
that book opens with, if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. And
Well,
because the
that's why I
first
just told you she read it.
yeah. So but I love that though, because I've read that, and that book's been out a long time. I've read that book, and so it made me chuckle when I heard that.
Well, it's just
Laura,
like
did
in
you pick up on
TNG,
that,
they quote
Laura,
Sun
when she
Tzu.
said that?
Yeah, I knew instantly where it came from. It's
Yeah,
been a long
okay.
time since. By the way, just off topic, if you like that book, you should read "It's My Ship." I forget by who, but it was by a former U.S. captain. I'll get that to you, because if you
Okay.
like that book, you'll like "It's My Ship." It's really,
Okay.
really good.
Cool. Thanks.
But anyway, so I think that if you to what you were saying,
And the
Mr.
last
Know-It-All,
lecture is another good one, Laura. You should read.
Right.
Yeah.
To what Mr. Know-It-All was saying, as far as this isn't West Point. This is the brand spanking new Starfleet Academy, the first class. The building is literally landing in the first episode.
Yeah, it
And
has
so-
been 120 years.
Wait.
You know?
So that makes it more important than if it was West Point, because
Hey, I'm here to make
she
your arguments
is the
for you. I'm happy I can help.
establishing chancellor.
I'm just happy I could help you make your argument because Lord
See,
knows you
Mr.
weren't here.
Mr. Know-It-All, the more you hang out with me, the more you're going to be me. I know you went off
I
on
hate
me
you.
during the
I hate
thing,
you.
but you're becoming.
It's already true.
I just want you to know. I just want you to know that's exactly what I'd say, so you can yell at me for 30 to 90 seconds in
Why
front
don't we
of
just
everyone.
change
But
your
you're
name right
becoming me.
now? Let's see.
You're becoming me, buddy. So that's fine. Go off on me all the time. Show all the comments you want. We're going to be the same by the end of this.
So before we come to an abrupt end, because we are getting close to our normal cut time, what did you guys think about the fact that
we're good. Keep
she
going.
tried to go to, or not try to, but that she went to the war school instead of the Starfleet Academy? What did you, Tarima, the Beta Z?
So there's 2 points
Or
to
Zoid.
that. There's 2 points to that, and this is one of them. But there's another point I really want to come up with before we get off. I really like, and I'm interested in, definitely Salty, because I know you and me have went back on this. I feel like, depending on how they play this, they might actually correct something people have complained about forever. Because now they have a war college and Starfleet Academy.
There it is.
Now they might actually have an actual military arm,
I'll kill you.
and a scientific arm. And I really think that would correct, and I think that'd be interesting to see where and what they do with it.
I like that, Laura. I like that. I hope they
not
do.
cut
Yeah,
this
yeah.
off, I'll kill you. I want to have this. I think I want to hear you guys have this conversation because I know that Salty, you've been of the mind that there's been a debate here about whether or not the military is militarized or whatever. I think you guys should discuss that.
One thing that I suggested is that did the War College always exist? And wait, hold on, Laura. I know
sorry.
there's no establishment of it, but what I'm saying is, like, from a lore perspective, could it have always been there? And when you go through the War College, you end up being, from the original series, a red shirt. That's why Starfleet Security are almost like their own branch. Yeah.
Are we back to Enterprise basically in terms of the
Yeah,
there
I know.
being
Like
Marines and all that?
Makos or whatever.
The white know-it-all. I got it. No, so here's the thing. They said I saw it. I don't know who did it, but I saw it. So here's the thing. They actually said the War College came up and replaced Starfleet Academy once they left. Now maybe they had it beforehand, but I'm saying the War College specifically, there was dialogue about that in it. No, keep it. I want to be that. No, that's going to be my
Well,
name.
I actually so it was me that changed it. I actually went into I was going to try to change Mr. Know-It-All to Black Lore, but I couldn't. But it wouldn't let me do it
That would
because
be awesome.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it because you were a co-owner, so it wouldn't let
An
me change
actual,
the
yeah,
name.
I got you.
Here's a question. This is good. Like, he says he thought the War College was part of Mako. What do you
Well, no,
guys think?
Mako was disbanded.
It was
and-
disbanded, yeah.
Yeah, and so I like the idea that there was always a war college. Maybe it could be a combination of both. Like the war college could have been what's left over from when Starfleet was there before.
Like Starfleet
Yeah, that's
Security.
Yeah.
That's
They
right,
just went
yeah,
full
that's what it
Starfleet.
is.
Because Starfleet Security had its own wing and
Because
academy.
when Earth was separate, they abandoned exploration and science and just went with the war college. And so there was no need for Starfleet Academy.
Okay, so real quick, because I know we're leaving. Seriously, do not turn it off because I want to see, because I think you're going to disagree with me, Salty. I think one of the most Star Trek thing that happened in it was specifically when how they accepted Beta Z into the Federation.
Yeah, I actually dug that.
Yeah, so
I
let
dug
me
that.
Yeah.
so let me tell you, let me give you my reasoning and why I thought it was so. Because when you look at how what Beta Z was wanting, the question behind the question, the answer was they were just scared. Everything they asked for was because they were scared they were going to be annihilated. They wanted 12 ships there for protection. They wanted 5 seats so that they could have the power. They wanted to be able to veto any person that came into the Federation. All that's really saying is that we're scared. And I think the fact that Starfleet and the Federation said, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to tie our fate with yours. We will put the Federation on Beta Z so that if Beta Z is destroyed, the seat of Federation power is destroyed as well. And I think that that's an extreme measure for sure, but I think that it is something that the Federation, like in its heyday in the original series or in the Next Generation, would do. That they would tie their fate to a species that's worried or scared like that.
So
It's the first thing I feel like showed that this era has done, Discovery or this one yet, that this era has done that felt like a logical move for that far in the future. I was like, okay, Starfleet eventually moves to some. I get it.
I would say this to that is that I agree that it was the most Star Trek thing that they did. I think that it was really good. But I also don't think it was as extreme as you might think, because keep in mind that up until very recently, Earth wasn't a member of the Federation because they became a separatist nation, and Starfleet headquarters was actually a mobile platform. And they were just discussing where are we going to put the new capital, and they just figured it was going to be on Earth again. But then when we had all these problems, they're like, well, wait a minute, we haven't built the capital yet. Let's build it on Betazoid. To me, it was it was a good logical solution. But to me, it wasn't that extreme, considering Earth was a bunch of FUs up until very recently.
Right.
I liked it. I thought it was a good moment.
I thought you'd have an issue with it, to be honest. I don't know why, but I just thought you'd have an issue with it for some reason.
No, my biggest issue with that episode is still the freaking Betazoid telepaths not being telepaths.
What, really? That's so funny. Right on.
Because here's the thing, like Danny was trying to say, oh, this was made by fans of Star Trek, and don't get me wrong, Dan, I'm not trying to rail on you, but if you're
look at my subtitle,
and you guys know, anybody that knows me knows this, I am a hardcore sellout for the original series, right? And so as far as the Berman era Trek, I think Deep Space Nine and Enterprise were really good. I thought that Voyager was pretty bad, and I thought TNG was really bad at the beginning and became good by the end. But you know what? I've never been a hardcore fan of the Berman era, but I know full well what a Betazoid is. And so I understand how they work. And that's why I compared it to, it would be like if you did something where you had Vulcans, but now they have laser eyes, and you just say, oh, they have always been able to do that. No, you can't. That's not how they work. If you're going to use an established race and that has established traits, then you have to go with that. If you want to make up a new race of empaths, then go ahead. But that would be stupid. Of course, they've already done that when they decided we're gonna cut and paste the Elorians into the whatever they call the white lady.
Oh my gosh,
the Lanthanites.
Lanthanites, thank you.
Yeah,
so because they can't have their own. They can't have the.
I just looked it up because you guys kept saying I was crazy or acting like I was crazy. Betazoids in Star Trek have completely black irises, which is their primary distinguishing physical trait. None of the Betazoids in this show have completely black eyes. None of them.
I didn't notice that either.
It was most noticeable during the flirting scene on the out in the mezzanine.
I'll be honest, I thought about it for a second to look for it, and then I forgot to. Because that is something I was like, well, they didn't get the telepathy thing right.
That bothered me more than the telepathy thing, because I just figured they were using restraint.
No, to me, and by the way, I do have an in-universe solution, just so you know. And I told this to Mr. Know-It-All, but I think that lore in particular, well, actually, Danny, you will approve of it but Lore will appreciate it because he's into lore so much. And so what that is that what we, this takes place 1,000 years after Picard, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so here's my theory: is that shortly after Picard season 3, Deanna Troi dies in a freak accident, and so Riker goes back to Betazoid and starts planting his seed everywhere.
Oh my God.
And so that means that everybody on Betazoid is descendant from
let's-
Riker.
let's hear him
I
out.
stopped drinking. And
Hold
saying
on,
out
hold on,
loud.
hold on, hold on.
You have
Let's
to-
hear him out.
He's the Genghis Khan of Beta Z. And so because of that, their genetics have been diluted with human DNA, and they can only read emotions now. And they have irises that are more like human irises.
My kids are never going to watch me again. This was the show.
He was like, I told them, just watch this once.
I was like, I'm not going to say anything bad or inappropriate. I won't cuss. I slipped halfway twice. And then Salty in lore. What's
What
with all the
did I
sex
do?
talk? The uncomfortable sex stuff from earlier. Now he's wanting to sexual. Come on, guys. Come on. Clean up.
Hey, I'm not sexualizing anything. I'm just talking.
I don't know,
about
man. I'm seeing a
sex.
pattern. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I talked about a show that has 20-somethings that uses sex to encourage a guy to survive. I'm sorry that I brought up what was actually.
Now
in
this
the
would be
show.
a good place to end the show in the middle of that. Whatever.
I thought he was doing that entire thing. I thought he was going to be like, and this is what happened.
I swear to God, I thought
That's what
about it, but
he
I
was
didn't.
doing.
But so what do you think of the Riker thing?
I think it's genius. I think that's what.
It doesn't matter what you think. It was a rock reference. Never mind.
Sorry, I've never watched WWE or whatever.
Thank you.
You
Laura.
don't watch real athletes?
I don't. I'm too busy watching nature documentaries.
That's right. That's right.
He's too busy watching 20-year-olds having sex.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Oh God.
Right on, man.
I love you guys.